All right, welcome to another episode of Let There Be Talk. Today is Monday, July 20th, and this is episode number 539 of Let There Be Talk. This episode is brought to you by the great CBD Lion. A lot of you out there are having a lot of anxiety right now because of what's going on in the world with the pandemic and the whole fucking boil up going on. Having a hard time sleeping, or maybe you just have some old school joint aches, neck aches, elbow aches, whatever. CBD does it all. And what better spot to get it than CBDlion.com. Use the code DEAN for 20% off. These guys have it all. And I've been rocking the bath bombs lately. That's right. You heard it here. The biker Dean Del Rey takes baths. I can admit it. I like to chill out in the bath with a bath bomb by CBD Lion. They also have the CBD patch now. You don't want to mess around with lotions. You know, maybe you're one of those people that don't like greasy stuff, or you got some weird skin or whatever. Go with a CBD patch. Stick that on the spot and just rock it. Tinctures under the tongue. Couple drops. Boom. You feel better. Topicals is the way I go. I like the roll-on topical. I roll it right onto my neck. They also have gummies. Taste good. They have pet tinctures. Squirt a couple drops into your pet's food and watch him chill out. Chill out. You got one of those barking pets? They just bark for no reason? Get them some pet tinctures. CBDlion.com. 100% clean CBD. Third-party tested. Not your truck stop hillbilly backyard tester oils. This is real deal clean products. Organic is where it's at with CBD Lion. Feel good, look good, stand up tall, roll the tinctures under your tongue, and rock and roll. I don't know what I'm saying, but I know one thing. CBD Lion has been helping me for almost a year. I use it religiously. Use the code DEAN and get 20% off everything all the time. Okay. It's another magic day over here for the Let There Be Talkers. An honor. I'm talking about an honor to have this guest on. In 1984, a record hit the streets and absolutely changed the game. And that is not an exaggeration. Run DMC drops a record, and immediately at all the parties, you started hearing sucker MCs, you started hearing Rockbox, you started hearing Wake Up, and the landscape changed. It completely changed. And there are only a handful of groups that you can say, oh, when that record came out, the world changed. Run DMC is one of them. Let me give you a little rundown of Run DMC, how monumental they were. All right? They were the first hip-hop group to achieve a gold record. They also followed it up with a platinum record with King of Rock in 85, making Run DMC the first hip-hop group to achieve a platinum record, a gold record, then a full-on multi-platinum record with Raising Hell. Everybody knows they did the classic remake with Walk This Way, Aerosmith, and Rick Rubin, and that whole genius move. But my guest today, Darryl DMC McDaniels, Mr. DMC himself, the king with the glasses, the king with the sweatsuits, the king with the shell toes, the Adidas, everything, 100% authentic, pure, organic, super hip-hop king. That's a lot right there, right? I couldn't even say that again if I tried. But it's all real. It is all real. And to talk to this man, holy smokes, it was so cool. I want to thank Rob Dukes for setting it up. Wow. Rob said, hey, you want to have DMC on? I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, my God, yes. Oh, man, to just talk. I've said it before many times. I always felt like I was, you know that song, He's a Little Bit Country, I'm a Little Bit Rock and Roll. Remember that, Donnie and Marie? Osmonds? Yeah. I always felt I was a little bit hip-hop and a little bit rock and roll. I just always felt like that. I loved the look and the sound and the freshness of DMC, and I loved rock and roll, and I always mixed them up. And still to this day, I still love the glasses that DMC wore. I wear a pair of shell toes. I wore them today. I wear Adidas sweatsuits to this day. I listen to hip-hop to this day, all because of Run DMC. And I can't even tell you how big of an impact this made all over the world. They played Live Aid. They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They've sold millions of records. They had a monster sneaker deal before anybody. They are the originators. And to talk to Darrell today was just a dream come true. All right. Before I do rock it on here, I just want to give a big thanks to all the Patreoners. I've been doing the Zoom Fest every Friday or Saturday night. Anybody that's on Patreon can join me for a Zoom hangout. It's been very, very fun to do during this lockdown. Shout out to Brian Spink donating. I love you, buddy. Ron Crowder. I want to thank you, buddy, for that Grateful Dead Jerry Garcia photo. Unreal photo this man gave me. He snuck backstage at a concert, a Dead concert at Golden Gate Park, snapped a photo of Jerry warming up with his famous Wolf guitar. And, oh, my God, this photo's great. Michael Klein, thank you so much, my man. Also, Ben from Nystrom Guitars. Ben is the Dale Raiser of the month. He's got a guitar shop open, Nystrum Guitars. Find it, people. He is a Patreoner. Ben Holt, Jeremy Rogers, Nate Levingwell. Heard Rubin upped his game. Rob Dukes joined on. Rob Dukes, a guest, joined my Patreon. A guest, a friend, a artist himself. The Hudsons, thank you very much. China Ryder upped the game. And David Peck. Actually, sorry. David Peck is the pinball wizard. I'm all backwards on here. David Peck, pinball wizard. Got him. All right. I'm so fired up for you guys to hear this. I hope you have a great week. And also, if you are on Patreon, I'm dropping a bonus episode with Joey Diaz this week where we talk about the 40-year anniversary of the legendary record Back in Black that came out July 25th, 1980. In the meantime, let's get into this man right here, DMC, keeping the candles lit. Here we go. Introduce yourself, my man. This is an absolute honor to have you on the show. This is mind-boggling to me. Tell them who you are.
You could call me Darryl. You could call me D. You could call me Darryl Mack. You could call me DMC. People always ask me, what does my name mean? D's for never dirty. MC for mostly clean. But sometimes I tell them when certain people ask that DMC means that Darryl makes cash. DMC in a place to be. Darryl makes comics just like Stan Lee. Like Peter Parker, I live in Queens, and like T'Challa, I am a king. But you can just call me Darryl, DMC, Darryl McDaniels.
Oh, my God, dude. That's just, I'm a couple years younger than you, but when of course Run DMC hits, it's 1984. I'm a senior in high school, and all hell breaks loose. But one of the questions I always wanted to ask you, or anybody that was in the very early days of hip hop from Grandmaster Flash on, was
right.
I was really turned on to kind of pre-Sugar Hill Gang. I went to an urban camp, Oakland camp called Camp Mendocino. It was way up north, but it was the Oakland Boys Club.
Sleepaway camp?
Yeah, you go for like 2 weeks.
Yep, I went to sleepaway camp too.
Yeah, and man, I love it. You know, when you first hear you're going, you're like, I don't want to go.
You hate it. No, you're crying and you're mad, but then you don't want to come home.
Oh my God, right?
I can relate. Yeah, wait.
So
I went to Camp Don Bosco. I remember the name and everything.
Yeah, mine was Camp Mendocino. It is. And these kids turned me on to a cassette tape.
Cassette tapes. That's one, yeah.
Of Kraftwerk. And they were popping to We Are the Robots and Trans Europe Express.
Yep.
Now, this is really the early days of hip hop. And
this is before Rappers Delight.
Absolutely. Yeah. And my question to you was, this cassette was all over in the kind of communities, and and people were creating this popping and locking. Dancing. Was that hitting in Hollis? What is the ground zero for you on Kraftwerk?
Kraftwerk, see, now I got to explain it like this.
Yeah.
The biggest thing on the face of the earth at that time was disco.
Right.
Remember how huge disco was?
I loved it.
Huge. The beat, you loved it. Right. Even the greatest rock bands on the planet had to make disco. Queen. Freddie Mercury and them made another one, Bites the Dust, and the Rolling Stones made Miss You. But the reason why I bring this up is because of this. Disco was the religion for the world at the time. A lot of great music. Donna Summer, the Tramps, the Bee Gees, Stones, everybody from across the genres, R&B, pop, and everything was making disco. The perception to the world was New York City was heaven. Why? They thought it was the perfect place in the world because of Studio 54. If you remember the 70s, when you looked at media, magazines, newspapers, and TV, they always showed Studio 54. Hollywood was traveling from Hollywood to come party in New York because everybody thought it was good. You turn on the TV, you see fur coats, you see Bentleys and Rolls Royces, you see diamonds. The rich people, the actors, the entertainers, the sports people, everybody was coming to New York because New York's disco scene was ridiculous. Studio 54 was like heaven. So people's perception was that, New York is immaculate. It's opulent. It's rich. That wasn't true. Because outside of Studio 54 was death, destruction, darkness, and despair everywhere, especially in the Bronx. So what happened to us was all of this music that was coming out of Studio 54 as disco at the time, but all the DJs was playing all of these European records. And all the DJs was playing all these soul records, R&B records, and dance records, and stuff like that. We were young people in New York City with nothing. I mean, nothing. But we saw those images of Studio 54, but we didn't want the riches. We looked and said, wow, they playing music and having a good time. So what we wanted was, in the midst of all the death, the killing, the drugs, the prostitution, the gangbanging, and all of that, we was like, wow, you get together, you play some music for those 1 or 2 hours, everything is fine. So we as young people said, we're going to do what Studio 54 is doing in the streets of the city. So we took the DJ sets, the mixer, the turntables, and the records and the speakers to the parks and to the streets of New York City. So now that we do that, we got to bring the music. So it wasn't like we were black kids and we only going to play black music. We played European music. We played Asian music. We played James Brown. We played disco records. When disco died, remember, in the 70s, disco was huge, but then we woke up overnight and somebody said disco sucks.
Yep.
And the world believed it.
They had the shirts.
Right. People threw disco away, but we embraced it. Why? Because a lot of the disco records always had a baseline breakbeat where the singing would stop and the music would play. Like Good Times, for example. Good Times. Boom, boom. So we said, yo, we're going to use those breaks to put our stories on it. So Trans-Europe Express, all of the European DJs was coming downtown and coming to New York City to play all the clubs. The disco clubs turned into punk clubs. The disco clubs turned into hip-hop clubs. So our influence from us coming, we went from the streets of New York to the early clubs after disco died. So when we was in there, we would hear these DJs, the DJs who traveled the world, they would come and play Kraftwerk. We was like, yo, what's that? You hear that record? Who's that? That's Kraftwerk. They from Germany. So we got exposed by disco. If you listen to the early, and this is all before hip hop records, but when we started making hip hop records, every rapper would say, "I'm the disco man."
Oh, yeah.
The Fat Boys,
the silky outfits.
Yeah, it was
the satin jackets.
Right, the early. That's why when you look at the rappers, the light video, they in a disco.
Yeah,
and they dancing. But what we wanted to do was, we was not the Bee Gees. We was not the Rolling Stones. We was not Queen. So we said, let's take their music and tell our stories. So when hip hop came out, even if he was a kid that never heard it, who lived in Colorado, there was something about what we was talking about, the sound of the music, and the younger feel of disco was a little older. I'm a man and I'm a disco. We were kids, we couldn't get in there. Yeah. So we took all the music that the older DJs was playing, that all the hot, whatever record was hot, 72, 73, 74, whatever records was on the charts, we took those records, found the space where nobody was saying something, and we made our own. So when you heard Kraftwerk, it was about us saying, okay, we know people do the hustle. Remember, do the hustle. That's what they do in the disco. We knew about Chubby Checker doing the twist. So we were, from watching what was created already, we say, wow, we don't have to imitate and emulate. Let's make our own. So these kids, the reason why pop came along, You Moving Like a Robot, is because the record was called The Robot. It was very computer. It was very futuristic. So we were kids in the present, feeding off of futuristic sound. And that led to it being good enough to be put on a record, such as Rapper's Delight. But the record that defined hip-hop was the message. Because the message wasn't just a young record. Even though Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five were youngsters when they made it, it was a true representation of the feeling of people from a social economic standpoint. Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying. It was about struggle. We were talking about our mothers and fathers working 9-to-5 jobs, not getting nowhere. We were talking about the social conditions, the economic conditions. I mean, because the news wasn't talking about it. The news was too busy showing Studio 54. So we said, wow, when you listen to Neil Young, when you listen to John Fogerty, when you listen to the Beatles, their records they were huge rock stars, but their records were always about the people in the audience from a universal standpoint. So we said, yo, that's what we got to do. We're not in Studio 54, so we couldn't make a record about being in Studio 54. So it's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder. It was all about struggle, and it was about us little kids seeing the adults go through hell, and nobody's addressing those issues. So from Kraftwerk to any of the music that we utilized in the early days, that's why all the early rap records were a remake of the songs we listened to. Right.
I tell you, it's unbelievable how it hits me. At the time, I'm a young kid, and I'm growing up in the San Francisco Bay Area. And
Bay Area represent, baby.
Yeah. We had our guys, Paris, Ray Love, all the early stuff. But You know, the thing I really I loved about New York and Run DMC, and I really see it in the Glennie Friedman's photos, the early photos of you guys in Hollis on the street corner and that
Right.
kind of stuff, was the fashion. Because rock and roll had fashion,
Yeah,
always
it
has.
had
Bowie,
style.
the
Yep.
stuff, yeah.
Yep.
And immediately I was I wanted an Adidas sweatsuit.
Yep.
I wanted those Gazelle
You want
glasses.
the gazelles, you wanted the
Ah,
Kango hats.
I never got down with the Kango hat.
Really,
I
really.
wanted the glasses because it was part Goodfellas,
Yeah,
Godfather
yeah,
kind.
yeah. All of those
Yeah,
guys wore those
they
glasses.
all wore
Yeah.
them. They all wore them.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
the sweatsuits. So to me, you guys were these. It was a mafia look.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
was these street rappers, and I was
Right.
like, this.
Instead of being a crime family, we was a rhyme family.
Right. And the crazy thing was, I'm coming from leather jackets and motorcycle boots and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah. The
but I
punk look, the
yeah,
whole punk rock and roll look. Yeah.
right.
The early hip hoppers, when you look at Africa Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation, Grandmaster Flash, everybody before Run DMC dressed like the rock stars. They wore the leather. They wore the spikes. If you look at Grandmaster Flash on the album, they were emulating their heroes. Their heroes were the Rolling Stones. Their heroes was Parliament Funkadelic. Their heroes were the Ramones. So when you look at the early hip hop guys, they look like the rock and the punk rockers because the first rappers had no rappers to look up to. Our first rappers, Melly Mel and them, before they got show business, that's what the breakdancers, the rappers, the DJs, and the graffiti writers wore Adidas suits and Adidas and Gazelles. And when we made our records, we said we didn't want to dress like we were celebrities. We wanted to dress in a way that everybody from our culture could relate to us. So if we're going to come on a set in front of everybody, at that time in the tri-state area, or anybody we did a lot of shows in Florida. We did a lot of shows in LA. The first guy that brought us to LA was Uncle Jam's Army. He brought us to LA. I'm talking about this was like 83. There was no album covers, no MTV and nothing. But he heard It's Like That Sucker Seas. So when we came, when people saw us on stage, they was like, yo, they got on a fly Adidas suit. Or they got on the Adidas or Pumas. Like Pumas was popular too.
Yeah.
So when we came along, that was one of the appeals. Even if you lived in California, even if you lived in Texas, when you saw Run D&J, you kind of saw something that was closer, relatable to you than us being Mick Jagger. Because if we didn't came like Mick Jagger, y'all would have said, yo, why you dressing like the Rolling Stones? Why you dressing like the punk rockers? And simultaneously in New York City, punk rock and hip hop existed simultaneously. People forget Blondie made a rap song.
Oh, the best.
She made rap shit, talking about Grandmaster Flash. So if you would have came to New York City in 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, and you went to any of the clubs, we had a club called The World, we had a club called The Danceteria, we had Roxy's. When you walk in those clubs, you didn't just see hip hop. You would see Blondie. You would see Lou Reed. You would see Basquiat. You would see Keith Haring. You would see who else? You would see the Ramones. You would see, oh shoot, they go Madonna just walk by. Yo, the Beastie Boys just walk by. Yo, they go Run DMC over there. Yo, this Africa Man Flat. So and you would see all the writers and the journalists. So in New York City, when disco died, when that whole disco mentality of money, sex, and drugs died, it was very artistic. So we were all in the same places. The Ramones came to all of those early shows. Blondie was at all of those early shows. And because it was something she experienced in the flesh, she made a record about it. Now, some of her audience knew what she was talking about, but the audience that only knew her as a band was like, what the hell is a Grandmaster Flash? Who is a 5'5" Freddy? So you would have had to come to New York and come downtown New York to the Soho and the Village to see, oh, this is why she's talking about that. So the same way we took their music, they started talking about what they were seeing us do. That's why the Beastie Boys was a punk group. who started making rap hip hop songs.
Right. It's funny because I talked to Tech Nine about this, and I never Tech Nine, I believe, is around our same age.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, growing up in San Francisco and the Bay Area scene and all that, and the melting pot, it wasn't just all white or whatever. It was
right.
all races.
Yeah.
We were at parties and we listened to every kind of music. It would be Saturday Night Fever, into an AC record, into a George Carlin record, into
exactly. Folk music, Jim Croce, Harry Chapin,
Cat Stevens,
John Denver would come on. And that's because in the 60s and 70s, in the 70s mainly, radio wasn't segregated. You would hear Sly and Family Stone, you would hear Led Zeppelin, you would hear Joni Mitchell all in one. Somewhere along the line, it got segregated. That's why when Run DMC came into hip hop, the majority of the hip hop was just funk records and R&B records. You know what I'm saying? Disco records and dance records. The reason why we made rock and roll was when I was growing up, I never cared nothing about soul music, because soul music was, when my mother and father was 20 to 50 years old, they were still young. So when I was a kid, I didn't have a music that was mine. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Al Green, Aretha Franklin, and Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder was my mother and father's music when they was cool still. So I was still a kid. Curtis Mayfield. So I was still a kid. I cared nothing about soul music because I was in the comic books. Godzilla movies, Kung Fu movies, the Brady Bunch, Flintstones. Like, I'm a kid still. Skateboard, AFX cars, Lionel trains, big wheels, all of that. So I'm still a kid. I didn't have a music, but the music that I was attracted to because of the radio, 77 WABC here in New York City, Dan Ingram. Shout out to Dan Ingram. He's a legend on the radio here. On those stations like that, they would play Crosby, Stills, Young and Nash. They would play the Doobie Brothers. They would play the Beatles and the Stones and Led Zeppelin and Bob Dylan. And they would play Marvin Gaye. So it was a mixture of music. I was more attracted to folk music and rock music, for artists like Neil Young, who sung about the shooting at Kent University. John Fogerty, who made Fortunate Son, talking about presidents and government. So I'm a kid. I went to Catholic school my whole life. So if I'm hearing Michael Jackson and Stevie and Marvin and Al Green sing about love, I don't care about girls. I care about comic books and superheroes. But when the folk artists who were really political, social songwriter, they talked about government, they talked about social issues, women's rights, civil rights, the Vietnam War, whether those artists were unique because whether they was for the war or against the war, they sung about it. So when I heard folk music and rock music, it was like being in history class. You know what I'm saying? So when it was time for me to make records, I said, I'm not going to use James Brown. I'm not going to use funk. I'm not going to use disco because everybody's using those. Why isn't nobody using the rock records like Tech Nine said? Why is nobody using the rock records? The reason why at the time people thought hip-hop is only black people's music. Because at the time there was a separation. Hip-hop is for black people and rock and punk is for white people. But that wasn't necessarily true. That's why when we did finally do Walk This Way, and Steven Tyler took the mic stand and knocked down the wall that was separating us, people all over this globe said, DMC, that didn't just happen in a video, that happened in the world. But that was just a representation to let people know before we got on MTV and before we got on radio, if you would have came downtown New York City, the rock, I literally hung out with Madonna, the Ramones, Lou Reed, all in the same club together. Listening to we listened to reggae, we listened to pop, everything you and Tech Nine talked about. That's how it was in New York in the early 80s. And that's why hip hop was so universal. The Beastie Boys was a punk rock group who said, we're going to make a hip hop song. Rick Rubin asked Jam Master Jay, rest in peace, you think these three white boys could make a hip hop song? Jay said, why not? So we gave them Slow and Low, and a couple of weeks later they had License to Ill.
It's funny because it's I think without being well-rounded in your musical knowledge, your hip hop flavor and the world of hip hop wouldn't have ignited as much as it did
Exactly.
because it would have just
Right.
been so boxed in, you know?
Exactly. We would have died in the disco era.
Yeah.
Because the Fat Boys were the disco 3. It was the disco 4, the disco 3, the disco. I'm the disco king of the mean machine. It was this. It wasn't youthful. So Tim Armstrong from Rancid, he's producing a record on my new album. He said what had happened was the punk scene was already with that attitude. Fuck the world. Fuck you. I'm gonna dress like we want. Fuck the government. Fuck the establishment. Y'all don't know nothing. Y'all the problem. So punk already had that revolutionary attitude. So the powers that be were against them. Tim Armstrong said the punks were already doing what we were doing in their punk way.
Totally,
you know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Suicidal tendencies, Rancid, they were doing exactly what we were doing. But then Tim Armstrong said when this thing called hip-hop came, he said punk had one finger up to the world like this. We're going to act the way we're going to say what we want to say, dress the way we want to say, and we're going to tell the truth about our feelings. He said when hip-hop came, hip-hop made punk put 2 fingers up. That's why when people say Run DMC gave birth to like Rage Against the Machine. You know what I'm saying? I talked to David Grohl. He was like, yo, we never missed a Run DMC Beastie Boy. We already had the same attitude, but it was being done in separate venues. Once we put Rock Box on MTV, which was the first rock rap record, that was 84.
Right.
The first Walk This Way isn't the first rock rap record.
No.
The first rock rap record is Rock Box, which is the first rap video on MTV. But who was playing guitar on Rock Box? Eddie Martinez from Quiet Riot. So, but it was going over people's heads. Then that was 84. 85, we did a self-titled album, and the title song was called The King of Rock.
Yeah.
With Larry Bud Melman from the David Letterman show.
I love that video.
Yeah. So
it's funny about that video because he says, you guys don't belong in here. And
this is a rock and roll museum.
I love how
that was very prophetic.
Oh yeah, and the people, even when you guys got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and they go crazy.
Yeah, right, but the truth is this. I want everybody to understand. It's a huge honor to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But for those who are mad that I'm in there, then don't put me in, because the honor for us isn't being in there. Gene Simmons had it right, and I agreed with Gene Simmons, and everybody got mad at me. But Gene Simmons just said this. He said the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was originally made for rock bands,
right?
Musicians. Why is this hip hop thing coming in here? So to solve that problem, it should have been the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Change it to the Music Hall of Fame,
right?
So all music can come in. Or if you're going to keep the rock and roll as the nucleus, it should be the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, soul music annex, hip hop annex, punk rock annex, this and that. But then if you do that, you're destroying the whole purpose of it. When I got inducted in 2009, I asked him, what do you think about Gene Simmons? Everybody's like, we love Gene Simmons, we respect his opinion, and he has a right to freedom, but he has a right to express his opinion. But they told me this. In 2009, when we got inducted, they said, look, D, this is funny. If you play the flute, now they didn't say if you play the flute in a band.
Yeah.
Just if they said, if you play the flute.
Yeah.
They say, if you do that, just you and a flute on stage at the Garden, and you sell it out 3 nights in a row, that's rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? So I understand what they were saying. But for us, for hip hop, if you don't want us in there because we don't play instruments, cool. My achievement isn't getting in. My achievement is just being considered worthy enough to be in. That's greater to me than being in, because that's the world. If you nominate me and don't let me in, but at least you're acknowledging that I'm a legit form of music. Now, the beef for Run DMC is this. Everybody said, all right, we might be mad that hip-hop's getting in, because hip-hop is a produced sample, make your own, just and that.
Right.
The only thing that most of my hits, that's why in 85, I said, I'm the king of rock. There is none higher. Sucker MCs should call me sire. To burn my kingdom, you must use fire. You know, I won't stop rocking till I retire. You don't define my existence. But the majority of people said if hip hop goes into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Run DMC gets a pass because all of my hits were rock songs.
Yep.
Rock Box, King of Rock, Walk This Way, Mary, Mary, and It's Tricky. Mary, Mary is a Beatles sample.
Yeah.
Mary, Mary. So all the Run DMC's hits were rock. The only thing that wasn't real on our records was the drum machine. But we used Eddie Martinez on the first two rock, real guitar player, real bass player, real keyboards. The only thing that was programmed was the drums. Same thing for King of Rock. And of course, Walk This Way. How you not going to let me in when we did it with the band that made the record originally? So those little things were I accept people's consideration of that. You know what I'm saying? Put me in a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but put me in a hip hop section. But don't tell me my music ain't legit. Well,
my thing was like by the time that hip hop hit, there was nothing as rock and roll and outlaw as hip hop at the time. So I was always looking at people like, are you out of your mind? This stuff is like way more rocking than what's out right now.
Amazing. Yeah,
this is the new rock.
Exactly. Even the message, you know what I'm saying? Broken glass everywhere. People, it was like the Stones. The message reminds me of the Stones' Heartbreaker.
Yeah.
Police in New York City, little boy running through the park, shoot him in the back. The message was that's rock and roll. It's economic, it's social, political, turmoil. You know, it's more informative than the news and the media.
Oh yeah,
so that's what rock and roll is about. Anything that upsets the older people who are in power and they get scared about people coming with this raw enthusiasm that's going to make people think a different way. Oh my God, it's threatening to them.
Well, I think also the tone of saying that Run DMC and NWA and LL Cool J and people like that shouldn't be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's just an undertone of racism still.
Exactly.
That's all that is.
Exactly.
You know, and it's really obvious. It's really
very obvious. It's very obvious. I mean, because look, my best friends is white people. Dave Navarro, Sebastian Bob, Rob Dukes. You know what I'm saying? Chris Chaney. You know what I'm saying? Who else do I play with? Billy Morrison.
Yeah.
Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
And everybody that I make music and do stuff with is white people. So it's what it is it's like music succeeds where politics and religion fail. Or let me take it forward. Entertainment succeeds where politics and religion fail.
Absolutely.
You know, when you look back, look at the Rat Pack. Frank Sinatra refused to roll if Sammy wasn't sleeping where he was sleeping at. So you see the powers there. If they could keep it separate, they will. The Beastie Boys made one of the best hip-hop albums in the history of hip-hop.
Ever.
Eminem is phenomenal. I can't even move my lips as fast as Eminem. You know what I'm saying? So the whole racism thing is always there, but it was always us that broke it down. A perfect example of that is I saw it on YouTube. It actually was in some documentary where I think the Rolling Stones went to see Muddy Waters.
Right. Oh yeah.
And Muddy Waters came to London. The Rolling Stones were like little kids. They went to see them. Like Mick and them went to see Muddy and was sitting there like fans. And the beautiful thing about that was when Muddy called them up on stage.
Yeah.
And Mick and them didn't want to go. Mick was like, no, they're not, you're Muddy. And Muddy was like, come on up. And they went up there and jammed. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Run DMC, that's what the Aerosmith videos signify. Oh, you're keeping us divided. When we actually, before we was making rock music, before we was making our own songs, we were listening to rock. And and most of those kids, I mean, I got kids that say, yo, you know, when I was in camp, like you, when I was in camp, or my brother went away to college and he came home, he had a cassette tape and I was hearing Kraftwerk and I was hearing James Brown and these kids were popping and locking and talking about sneakers and McDonald's and girlfriends and stuff like that. We created rock and roll, punk and all of that creates a universal existence for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you, when you're early on and you're getting your look together and stuff, was there because I was very big into the sneaker culture as a young kid.
Yeah.
You know, first we've got the Nike Blazer comes, and then we've got the Dr. J Converse.
Dr. J's.
Oh, the Dr. J's. Yep. And then it smashes with what I call the first $100 sneaker was the top 10, the Adidas top 10.
Adidas top 10, huge. Yep.
Right, huge.
Especially in Detroit. Oh my goodness.
God.
Huge
And
in Detroit.
that's all 70s. Was there a time where you were wearing different sneakers and different looks? And then this is our uniform?
Yes. I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Mother could, but she wasn't spending $30 for some Pumas. In New York City was Pumas.
Puma Clyde. The Puma Clyde. Yep.
Puma Clyde and the Superstars were huge. If you wasn't a drug dealer, or if you didn't have two jobs, my friends that had Clydes and Pumas were either drug dealers or they had two legitimate jobs.
Yeah.
My mother was buying, most of the kids were wearing Pro-Keds. Remember Pro-Keds? Canvas Pro 69ers and the Pro-Keds. Or we was wearing Chucks. Chucks is big in LA. Chucks was big in New York too. Right. I had light blue Chucks, black Chucks. The Chucks that are big in LA was big in New York. If you didn't wear Pro-Keds, you wore Chucks. So in the beginning, it was the canvas sneakers.
Of course.
Pro-Keds and the Chucks.
Yeah. And then the fake sneakers too.
And then the fake ones that would look like Chucks.
Yeah, like four-stripe Adidas.
And then they had the Pro-Cons.
Yeah, Pro-Cons.
That wasn't Pro-Keds or Converse. It was just they called Pro-Cons. They sold everywhere. But then it was like, it was right in, I would say, right at the dawn of the breakdance movement.
Right.
Right at the dawn of the breakdance, it was the breakdancers that started throwing on the Puma Clydes and the Adidas because they needed colorful sneakers.
Yeah. I'd get a colored Sharpie and I would fill in the stripe myself. Like your school color, you know?
Exactly. So for us, what had happened was, in the beginning, I was wearing Pumas. There's probably one promo shot. This is before Jam Master Jay was even in the group. Wow. Me and Run, when we made our first records, we didn't have a DJ yet.
Right.
So we did our promo shots. I was wearing Pumas. Run was wearing the Superstar Adidas. It wasn't until we put Jay in the group, when Jay showed up for his photo shoot, he had on the Adidas the Adidas track jacket.
Yeah.
He had on the Lees. Remember the Lees?
Oh,
the colored Lees, the black, the red, light blue, and he had on the Superstar Adidas. So when Jay had the Godfather hat on.
Oh yeah.
Instead of the Kango, he had the Run DMC Godfather hat. The funny thing about that is, speaking of the BCs, our look was how Jam Master Jay and DJ Hurricane of the BCs dressed in high school. Oh, that's how they went to school, with the leather blazer. Yeah. So when we put Jay in the group, me and Run was like, yo, that's going to be our look. So we all, the whole truth is Run DMC started dressing like Jay, and Jay defined our style and our fashion and our sound and everything. But like you said, that the Pumas, Clydes, and Adidas were the hot thing at that time. The reason why we went with the Adidas Superstar, if you remember with the Puma Clydes, the suede ones, you have to stay away from water, and they ruin if somebody step on them.
Totally, they're ruined.
So even if you got the leather Clydes, remember, the leather Clydes, I would say after about 2.5 weeks, the leather
start cracking.
Right.
Oh, it's terrible.
The Adidas Superstar, you could make that sneaker last for 3 years with a toothbrush and soap.
Yeah, I do it right now on my
it had a longer existence. So for us, it was out of necessity.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, we wasn't even thinking of getting an Adidas deal, but we was like, yo, let's get the Superstars because we could do 150 shows and still keep them looking new.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what about the glasses? Was that a frame that you wore, or did you go for that frame?
The Gazelle didn't come later, but people don't know. I mean, it's out now because I done did a bunch of documentaries about it. Yeah, I wasn't wearing Gazelles in the beginning. In the beginning, these were some generic glasses that happened to look like them.
Right. I noticed that. I saw that in early photos. I go, that's not even the real ones.
Exactly. I really wore glasses because without them, I can't see nothing. I got contacts in now. But I still got my glasses. These are I don't want to give him a shameless Ford, but Tom Ford. These are Tom Ford. So if Tom Ford hears about this, you're Tom Ford.
Yeah.
It costs a lot of money to get me to endorse a product, and it has to be done with integrity. But I really was wearing my glasses because I could see.
I've been wearing that type of shape for like, this is a Blake Kalahara.
Yeah, I like.
Ever since you wore those glasses.
Yeah, it was about the shape.
That's been my thing.
It was about shape, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But here's what happened. Those original glasses in 1985, I don't know if you remember this, downtown Los Angeles.
Yeah.
They used to do these free concerts in the summertime.
I remember them,
outside in front of the Capitol building.
Guns N' Roses did one.
Yeah. Run DMC got called to do one in 85. And Guns N' Roses was starting to blow right in the 80s too.
Right.
Simultaneous time. So Run DMC, we did one. And when we did it, we come downtown, we get up on stage and we perform. But instead of going backstage to do security, me running Jay, and at the time, our road manager was Leo Cohen, who went on later to run Def Jam and Warner and everything. Now he's running YouTube right now. But Leo Cohen was our road manager, so we performed, and instead of going, backstage to the security, we run DMC. We love people. We jump down and we walk through the crowd.
Yeah.
Our show is over, so we going to hang out now.
Yeah.
We didn't know how popular we were. We could jump down and we walk through the crowd. The whole crowd start rushing at us like, oh, my God, Run DMC's right here, no security. So me running Jay and Leo, we take off running, right? So as I was running, Jay was in the front, Run was second, I was third, and Leo was right behind me. As I'm running, my glasses fly off my face.
Oh, shit.
So I'm running, and they fly off my face, and I turn and say, Leo, get my glasses. He didn't see them. He steps on them.
Oh, man.
But he says, keep running, because we got 30,000 people chasing after us. So we run. Downtown, there was a eyeglass store called LA Eyeworks.
Oh, yeah, LA Eyeworks.
It was a chain.
They're on Melrose now.
They're still there,
around. Yeah.
LA Eyeworks, if you wanted to plug with me, I cost a lot of money. So Leo, who was from LA, took me to LA Eyeworks. And when I walked in there, he said, D, you have to, pick out some glasses because you need glasses. We got another show tomorrow.
Yeah.
So when I walked in there, I saw these glasses called Ultra Goliaths.
Oh, yeah. I remember the Ultra Goliaths. I had them.
Shaped like the gazelles, but they were thicker.
Yeah.
It was all one black color, and there was no gold on them.
That famous producer wore them.
Yeah.
The Hollywood producer.
Yeah. What's his name?
He's from the 50s. He started the Academy Award parties.
Yeah. If you look at his pictures, he's with Harry Carey from the Cubs.
Yeah.
The Cub announcer. Harry Carey. He wore them. A bunch of people, a lot of people wore those things. So when I saw those, I just liked it because they wasn't, the gazelles was like a little two fly with the gold on them. I just liked it because it was all black. So to me, I'm into superheroes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, if I put these big black glasses on and I put my black hat on and my Adidas suit, I'm going to look like, my favorite superheroes because I was a superhero dude. But it's funny. My glasses were Ultra Goliaths all those years. But the reason why people related, it was all about the shape. Ever since that day, I love the shape of the gazelles.
Oh, what's his name? It's like Lazar, Sleepy Lazar, or Sonny. Like he's got this name, but he was a famous producer, and he wore
out of LA.
Yeah.
He probably got them from LA Eyeworks or something. But yeah, so they the Ultra Goliaths are making a comeback right now. I think CeeLo wears them. CeeLo Green, I believe he wears them. I think Rick Ross wears them. So, but yeah. For me, the Ultra Goliath was because look at that name, Ultra Goliath.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dita also made one called the Grandmaster 3, and it was amazing.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. You should look at it. Grandmaster 3, and it looks
DIDA.
DITA, Dita.
DITA.
They've been making it for years. I wore that about 5 years ago on stage from a comedian, so I wore those.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome.
Basically, I basically have been your look meets rock and roll my whole life.
For sure. Yeah, because it was a common thing anyway.
When those sweatsuits came out, when you think about the quality of them, they were so much better back then. They were like
yeah.
Oh man. And they were $100. And I remember there's a guy in my neighborhood that stole them, from Mervin's, and
What?
you would give him
You
like,
sell them?
yeah, you give him
Keep a
20
price?
bucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, but I had short legs and they came one length, and they just,
Yeah, you remember that.
oh,
Yeah, but they were such good quality.
oh, they were way different.
Now they thin and
They're
cheap.
not
They
even
just throw them together.
they're not the same material.
At all. They zipper pockets on the jacket and the pants.
Yeah.
The fit of them, they were thick. They felt good on the skin. You're right. They were shiny.
Ooh.
High quality.
And they had those colors like smoke. These different colors back then.
And the light blue and the light gray.
Blue.
Remember the light blue?
Oh,
my
dude.
goodness. Yeah. Then they had the two-tone ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything was about quality back then. Now they just throw shit together and try to sell it to you.
I often look at Run DMC, and let me ask you if you think this is a good comparison. I compare you guys a lot to Evel Knievel. You set the bar. You are hip hop. Evel was the motorcycle stuntman. And later, these other people just made billions off it, like the X Games and hip hop world. Those two things, X Games and Run DMC.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Evel Knievel was the groundbreaker, but he missed giant money.
Exactly. I know. No, we made some good money now. I mean, we were the first to do the big tours and stuff like that. But I understand what you're saying. What happened was from 83 to like 89, we were the kings.
Totally.
But even though we wasn't the guys that was dominating everything, see, most people come in the market now, they control everything till they suck everything out of it. And then they talk about the next person. From day one, when we started, LL came right behind us. We could have told Russell, yo, don't mess with LL. Don't mess with Public Enemy. Don't mess with Stetson Sonic. Don't mess with Slick Rick. Don't mess with APMD. We was like, no, they could come with us.
Yeah.
So we wanted to share the money. So even though from Run DMC's Dominant Times, look who we toured with. Run DMC, LL Cool J, the Beastie Boys, Houdini, Public Enemy. We were all EPMD. Those people slept on our tour bus. We didn't separate ourselves from the competition.
Right. Yeah. It's insecure people, man, Right. Like so, Adam Sandler brought all his buddies forever.
Of course. Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do. But in the 90s, hip-hop as a whole exploded. You had all of these groups, Cypress Hill, De La, everybody, it exploded. So by the 90s, we were the OGs. But then something very unique happened. We were the elder statesmen in the 90s. We were still doing it, but we wasn't on the radio anymore, and we wasn't on MTV. But we were still touring. Nobody just knew about it. Yeah. So in the 90s, what happened, from 90 to 93, there was this whole new explosion, and it got really good, too. Because a lot of people say the 90s is the best time for hip-hop, because then you had Biggie, then you had Pac, and then after that little... after they went away, and all of that. Ice Cube went solo.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
Yeah,
Cypress Hill.
Yeah, Cypress Hill.
Amazing.
Oh yeah.
Cypress Hill is like the Led Zeppelin of hip hop. Like
when I listen to Three in the Head by you guys, I just can tell like, oh, this is some Cypress.
We influenced, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So in the 90s, we were influenced. We were respected and celebrated, but we wasn't participating. But then in 1993,
Down with the King.
Pete Rock and CL Smooth produced Down with the King. Pete Rock, Down with the King did for Run DMC what people say Walk This Way did for Aerosmith. In the 90s, it brought us back. We had the best video of the year.
It was amazing.
The best sounding new record. We didn't sound like anybody else out there. Like all our other records, the record Q-Tip produced sounded like Tribe. Saying the record Three in the Head was influenced by Cypress Hill. KG and Tretch and Vinny produced the record for Sound of Man. Pete Rock gave us a record that was Run DMC in the 90s.
Yeah.
So Down with the King comes out, right? We back on tour, we back on the charts, and we back on the radio. Now, the beautiful thing about that is we the OGs, though. We the older guys. But Down with the King is busting everybody's ass. and we're getting 90s payday money now.
Wow. I booked you guys in 93.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy Jimmy Arsenault in San Francisco at the Stone. You did the Omni and the One Step Beyond. I had you 3 weeks.
I remember that. I remember that. Wow. One Step, get out of here. Wow. That's crazy. So at that time, we was opening for ZZ Top, Naughty by Nature, for everybody. And then the funny thing with all the rap guys kicked us off their tours. We was so good. Yeah. It was like, yo, y'all guys could go do your own tour. So in the 90s, what had happened was it was a rebirth where we got to taste some of the spoils of the 90s because of Down with the King. Pete Rock, hate when I say it, but Pete Rock saved Run DMC's career with Down with the King. But after that, for me personally, Down with the King came out, and the next day I woke up suicidal, wanting to kill myself.
I read this now. It's a heavy thing. Do you understand? Because I know that you have.
I was a suicidal, alcoholic, spiritual, metaphysical wreck. Who, if I didn't kill myself, I was gonna go to the mall and kill people.
Wow!
And I'm just being honest about that because it was a messed up feeling.
Where was this geared around? Was it geared around finding out that you were adopted, or
no? That came later.
So where does the depression come from? What was it bottled up in? Because
I think it was. All right. So Down with the King comes out. We back.
Yeah.
So you would think life is good. For me, it was something missing, but I didn't know what it was. It was like I had to do a check. And it's okay. Because remember my rhyme, son of Byford, brother of Al. Bad as my mother, runs my pal. It's McDaniels, not McDonald's. These rhymes are Darrell's, those burgers are Ronald's. I ran down my family tree, my mother, my father, my brother, and me. Runs my friend, Jay's my friend. We put one record out in 1983, it was a hit. We put another record out, it was a hit. Russell says, let's make an album. We make an album, we're the first album to go gold. Then we do King of Rock. The King of Rock goes gold, and then we put out we put out the first album, it goes platinum. The first album goes platinum. Then we put out the second album, it goes double platinum. Then we put out Raising Hell, and it goes triple platinum. Walk This Way, my Adidas deal, everything that we did. Why am I sad? I had no idea what it was. So that fact, it was like one of those things where it's like, I should be happy because look, in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? We getting 70 grand a show. Now it's the 90s. We're getting 120 grand a show. You know what I'm saying? We get it. Why am I happy? I should be happy. I didn't know what. It was this void in me. And I was living with that void all through Down with the King till it got so painful. Like, I can't do this no more. And, you know, I was trying, you know, people around me, Running Jay knew I was going through something. You know, my manager and everybody, but they didn't know what it was because I didn't know what it was. If I would have known, I would have told him. I didn't know I could go get help. See, the other thing, too, was I'm DMC, the mighty king of rock, who told the world to walk this way in their Adidas. You would think I would know how to go get help and stuff like that. You know, I'm lifestyles of the rich and famous. I didn't know better. I didn't know what to do. So my only escape was I don't like feeling like this no more, so I'm going to kill myself.
Wow.
That's all it was. Like, I don't like this feeling. I don't know what to do. I feel all alone. It was one of those things where you go, I'm the only person in the world that feels like this, and I don't like this. As opposed to, let me go get help.
Also in your community, it was that kind of gangster mentality.
The stigma.
You can't be like, dude, I'm not feeling good.
And
people
especially with men.
Get out of here. Yeah.
99.9% of the men are all front. So for me, it was this. I was living through that. It was just so painful and uncomfortable. So I said this is funny. Okay, I'm going to kill myself. But before I kill myself, I want to let the world know about Darryl because they know about the DMC guy. So I said, I'm going to write a book. This was the first book that I wrote. I said, I'm going to write a book. And in this book, I want to tell the world, hey, world, what's up? I'm DMC. You know me from the groundbreaking rap group Run DMC. First to go gold, first to go platinum, first on the cover of Rolling Stone, first with the big sneaker deals, first with the big tours. Everything that hip-hop is doing, they say it's because of me, Running Jay. But I'm really just Darryl McDaniels from Hollis, Queens, New York, no different from any of you. I was born May 31st, 1964. And then when I got to that part of my identification, I was like, oh, I know my birthday, but I don't know no details. So innocently, I called my mother up. And now you gotta understand, I'm at this point, I'm about to kill myself. So I don't go, hey, mom, I'm about to kill myself. I need to know this, because she would have lost it. I said, Mom, I'm writing a book, and just to make it more interesting for the reader, I want to know 3 things. How much did I weigh? What time I was born? What hospital? So she tells me, thank you, Mom. I love you, son. I love you too, Mom. Hang up. An hour goes by. She calls back with my father. We have something else to tell you. Okay, what is it? You was a month old when we brought you home and you're adopted. We love you. Bye. Click.
Wow, that's it, huh? Just hang up.
Oh, yeah. Because they didn't know what to say. They was like, they hung up the first and said, we have to tell him his secret.
Wow.
So when I look back on that, the feeling was there's something missing here in all of this Run DMC stuff.
Right.
So when I asked my mother, I don't care, call her, I think God's a lady anyway, but call her God, Buddha, Yahweh, the eternal one, the great one, whatever you want to call her, or whatever you want to call it. But it was the universe telling me, D, son of Byford, my Adidas, walk this way, ultra-light glasses, your ass is adopted. So it's the universe saying, prepare yourself to take another ride that you have no idea about the beginning. See, for me, I thought everything began in Hollis, Queens.
Right.
I'm DMC from Hollis, Queens. Christmas time in Hollis, Queens. Mom's cooking chicken in Hollis, Queens. Son of wife, and I come from Hollis. I'm Darryl. I come from Queens. My story didn't begin in Hollis. So for me, be prepared to survive the rest of my existence. It was imperative that the universe let me know who I am. I'm an adopted kid who started as a foster kid, and for some strange reason was allowed to be that third member in this group, so all of this can happen to inspire, motivate, and educate others. So for me, it's some Moses shit. Because if you remember Moses wasn't Egyptian. Moses was adopted.
Yeah.
And Moses had a speech impediment. So we all have these little assignments or missions that we have no idea. So for me, in order for me to survive, I had to learn my truth. If I would have never asked the questions, my mother and father would have took that to their grave with them because they were too ashamed or guilty to tell me. They looked at me and said, this little orphan kid is doing so good. They thought my truth would hurt me. But even if it did, it's your prerogative to tell me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's my truth. But I had to find it out like that. It all started with Pete Rock and Down with the King. So Pete Rock, I blame you for that too. Because if Down with the King never would have came out, my career would have never revived, and I would have just been all right. I would have been the guy that used to be DMC.
Man, Down with the King. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Live Aid. We just came off the
anniversary of it.
Yeah, the anniversary of it. And I grew up in San Francisco Bay Area, and I worshiped Bill Graham. I think he's the reason why I love all different types of music, because he was the man that would put together those incredible shows at the Fillmore.
And if he saw an act that everybody didn't have faith in, he would say, nah, that person needs to write. He was a visionary. He was passionate. Yep. Because of him, he's the only reason why we were on Live Aid.
That's what I heard. So let's tell this story.
He fought for us to be on Live Aid. So they're doing this big Live Aid thing. They're having a Live Aid meeting. Everybody in the table, the board meeting, the promoters, the investors, and all of that sitting around. And then somebody mentions, yo, it'll be really cool to have Run DMC on here. People, hell no. Hip-hop will be over. Hip-hop's going to die like disco. They said, why y'all want Run DMC here? They're not even going to be around next year. Bill Graham said, if you don't put Run DMC on the bill, I'm not participating.
Wow.
That's what I heard from somebody in the room.
Wow.
So that being said, we get a call, yo, tomorrow you have to go play Live Aid. We were so scared, but it was because of Bill Graham. Somebody said no. They said, don't have the hip hop guys on there. This is for the rock stars, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bill Graham said, if you don't put Run DMC on it, I'm not participating.
What do you remember from that day, man? What was that like? That had to be insane to be part of something so massive, even to this day.
The scariest thing ever. We didn't want to go.
Yeah.
What are you guys trying to do with us? Because we didn't want to ruin nothing. You know what I'm saying? We was like, what? What? Do you know who's doing this? Do you know who's on the bill in London? Like, you're putting us in that thing? So for us, it was the scariest thing. We didn't even speak about it. I remember, I forgot what city we was in the night before. We had to get up early that morning, fly there, do our show, and then fly back to the town and continue the tour.
Yeah.
We was on tour. So the morning was in the dressing room, waiting to go on.
Wow.
So when it was time for us to take the stage, we just knew this. Go out there and do what you do.
Right.
Don't try nothing extra. Go out there and do what you do. And people, you can't hear it on YouTube. When we walk out there, two things happen. If you look at the intro when Jay's calling us out with the turntables, the record keeps jumping.
Yeah.
So anybody looking at this, y'all probably don't understand hip-hop. And let me tell you, it was not a perfect set at all. Because when Jay's calling us out, run, it keeps jumping. Because Jay used to use the record to call DMC. He scratched our intros out. So the record keeps jumping. But the other thing was this. Once we get up there, once the whole band get up there, the reception was 70-30.
Wow.
No, right. 70% was like, I know them, I heard of them, or they might be cool. 30%, you can't hear it on YouTube. Boo.
Whoa.
Boo. Loud boos, yeah.
Whoa.
70-30.
Right.
So we could have ran off stage. We said, just keep going. If you see our performance, I think it's just do what we do, leave. And the beautiful thing about that, when we left, everybody who probably never saw us, that was very good. Like, we thought this hip hop thing really sucked, but you guys are really different. But 30% boos. Yeah, because they don't know what to expect. Like, why are those guys here? Because some people heard about the hip hop thing and they was like, well, they can't do that thing here. But when they saw what Run DMC and Jay did, especially the way Jay did it, it was like, that's so cool. Like, they didn't know Jay was messing up. That's so cool. He talks with the turntable. Like, it was so new to them. Yeah. So for us, it was beautiful, but it was 30% boo that almost made us run off the stage. But then you just go, now let me just do what I do. Maybe one person will like me.
Yeah. I have a good friend. I don't know if you're a comedy fan, but a good friend of mine, Keith Robinson. He's a great comedian, New York City.
All you guys are funny as hell.
Yeah, and he went to the Garden Show, the famous Garden
86.
Show. Yeah, and he talks to me about it sometimes.
Wow.
And it is
he was there.
He was there, man.
That's
he was
amazing.
there. And you could see in his eyes when he's like, nah, man, this shit was the bomb. Like it was like nothing ever came close to it. You know what I mean? Like it's
when we took the sneaker and held the sneakers out, and the whole garden held up the sneakers before mine. That's the thing that got us the Adidas deal. The representatives from Adidas was at that show, and after they saw my Adidas, when Run said, D, take it off, I took my sneaker and he said, hold it up. And I held up my sneaker like this.
Yeah.
All 19,000 people in the garden held up their sneakers. Brand new sneakers that they brought before they came to the show.
Wow.
So Adidas was like, you guys got to deal with us.
Wow. And was it a big deal?
It was $1 million back then. That's huge.
$1 million?
$1 million. $1 million.
Straight cash? Just, like between three guys?
Here's $1 million. And they paid for all the tour, the road expenses.
Wow.
Because prior to that, he was doing it. So now the Adidas deal came in like right around the time Yo MTV Raps launched.
Right.
And I think the day that we got the deal was the pilot episode. We was filming a pilot episode for Yo MTV Raps, but they gave us $1 million in cash, and they paid for all of the expenses for the tours moving, the buses, transportation, all of that. Because now for them it's marketing and advertising.
Right.
So it was huge. It was huge, and it was the first time in the history of the company that they didn't have the light blue box.
Oh,
sky blue box. They gave a black box with the Run DMC emblem on it.
I love the Run DMC emblem embroidered on the shoe.
Amazing. Yeah, exactly. So it was a match made in heaven. Because it's something that already existed.
You got to think about that, dude. You're this guy who's adopted. He doesn't even know. He grows up in Hollis, and
Right.
he's wearing Adidas and everything. Next thing you know, you got an
Adidas deal. I tell kids, I speak at a lot of schools and stuff like that. And I tell kids, don't get it twisted. I didn't call Adidas. Adidas called me. I didn't go knocking on the doors asking for anything. They saw, and the reason why they did it, they saw that we were good.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about good people. Like, this is a good thing to do for people. So when you see the Adidas sneakers, it's bigger than Run DMC and Adidas. That sneaker means something. Like, when you see that, you go, yeah, it's a feel-good, universal, connecting, positive thing that makes out of everything that's going wrong in the world. When you see those sneakers, the day that those sneakers came in existence on Run DMC feet, they created a vibe and feeling that's just down home, good, universal. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man. I don't really know what happens later on. Do you lose everything, or did you keep it all together? How did you dodge all that? Because I know there was a time where you were on a lot of prescription pills and drinking.
Oh no, I wasn't on pills. I was drinking a case of 40 ounces every day.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was. What had happened with that is, now once I went to therapy.
Yeah.
So anybody out there listening right now, therapy is the most gangster thing that you can do for yourself. It's the coolest, toughest, meanest thing that'll make people know don't mess with you. It's not weak. It's not soft. It's the most powerful thing that you can ever do. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Little kids, girls, boys, especially you men, I don't care if you got OCD like me, if you got anxiety like me, if you're alcoholic like me, if you're suicidal like I was, go get some help. It's not a weak thing. So for me, this is what happened. I grew up in Queens. I love comic books.
Right.
And I love Godzilla movies. And I love the black and white Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff movies. I go to Catholic school. I'm a geeky, nerdy kid that goes to Catholic school, that wears glasses, that gets straight A's, that got teased and bullied and picked on. When I was little, when I was younger, my life was miserable. But I had my imaginations, comic books, and rock and roll on the radio. Then this thing called hip-hop comes over the bridge where I say, oh my God, I can tell stories about me over music. So mild-mannered Catholic school kid Darrell, like the superheroes he looked up to, Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Captain America, now transform into the mighty king of rock. Because the only time I saw positive, smart, nerdy, geek people that were powerful was in comic books.
Right.
Bruce Wayne, Peter Parker, Clark Kent,
super
Tony
nerds.
Stark, super nerds, but then they kick ass.
Yeah.
I didn't have that in my world. So me, I'm just imagining to be the most powerful entity in the universe. So little Darryl McDaniels is just making this music because it's fun. We got to a point, I think it was probably around the Raising Hell time, where before I was getting hit records, I was charting and I was making money. Now people who not doing it for the reason that I'm doing it, they start telling me, Darryl, you need to have a hit record. Darryl, you need to be on a chart. Darryl, you need to make money. So my stupid ass, I start believing them.
The pressure.
I go, no, stupid. I didn't know everything I need to be successful, happy, and live till I'm 3,100 and 400 million years old is inside of me. But now I'm like, I'm living up to other people's expectations. Like, I got to understand, if I never have another Raising Hell again, so what? I had it. It's beautiful. But then I got to the point where I got to struggle, so I didn't know I didn't need anything outside of me. I started reaching for the alcohol to get me through it. But I didn't understand that the alcohol's not going to work. Matter of fact, I feel good now. When the high wears off, I'm going to feel worse than I did when I took the first drink. So in order to feel like I did when I took the first drink, I drank again. Yeah. So it got to the point where I was drinking, the 40-ounce bottles are all English.
Oh, yeah. Old English 800.
There was people in the neighborhood, man, he drinks 2 a day. I was drinking a case, 12 a day by myself, just to cope with an existence that didn't have anything to do with me.
12 40s.
So that put me in a hospital with pancreatitis.
Oh, man.
I had acute pancreatitis. I almost died.
Yeah.
And then
Did it burst? Your pancreas
No, it
burst?
didn't. It didn't.
Wow.
So thankfully, I was in the hospital for a month and a half, getting everything intravenously. I couldn't take nothing orally. But after a month and a half, they was like, this is a miracle. Your liver is still in good condition and your pancreas survived. So I had two options. My doctor looked at me and said, you can drink and die or not drink and live. So even during the Down with the King time, I wasn't drinking because of the pancreatitis. Because I knew if I drank, I'd die. Once I found out that I was adopted, what did I reach for? I went out on Old English. But now in the 90s, they got this thing called Hennessy and Cavassier. And my two best friends became a guy named Jack and Jim, Jack Daniels and Jim Beam.
Wow.
So when I found out they were adopted, those emotional things that I already experienced that I didn't put two and two together caused me to drink again. So it wasn't until I almost died again where I said, I got to go get sober. I went to Sierra Tucson in Arizona for 30 days. And what I liked about this place was most places just get you to stop drinking and they push you back out in the world. They got me to stop drinking, but they didn't let me leave. They made me sit down and deal with myself.
Wow.
They put the 10 characteristics of a addictive personality on the board. I was all of them. Yeah. But the beautiful thing about that, they got me to a place where I had to admit, yeah, I do that. And I wasn't ashamed of it. So once I got sober, I went to therapy so I could talk about the thing I didn't talk about when I was 8. But you got to understand, my life as a kid was so perfect. I had the best parents ever. Yeah. Like all my rhymes are about Son of Byford and Christmas Time in Hollis, Queens. Yeah. Besides me being the king of rock. But what it was, when I found out that I was adopted, deep down emotionally, it hurt. But I didn't want to talk about it. So what did? I did the thing I wasn't supposed to do. My wife said, D, remember I said I was suicidal? Yeah. Because I didn't want to deal with my emotions, my truths. My wife looked at me when I started drinking again. She said, Darryl, I'm not just telling you this not to. You can't, motherfucker, because you got pancreatitis. Deep down inside, psychologically, the killing revelation of you're adopted, I'm not Byford and Banners by blood, hurt me. So I said I wanted to leave. So I had to go deal with that. And I was diagnosed with OCD, anxiety, and suppressed emotions. Wow. And I said, what's that? You were using the alcohol to suppress how you feel. Push it down. You're so worried about telling your truth. You're so worried about hurting others, you're hurting yourself. So when I got out of rehab, they said, from now on, do what you feel makes you feel good. Even if that means walking the rain for Run DMC. I don't want to be on the radio. Motherfucker, they're going to give you $10 million. So what? How the hell you're not going to take $10 million? You know what's better than $10 million to me? Going home and writing an episode for my comic book. Wow. Yeah. So I had to learn with that. She was, maybe it'll take me a little longer to get to $10 million, but at least I'm happy. Yeah. I don't want to have the $10 million and feel like shit. Imagine that, I want to work and wake up one day and say, it took me a long journey, but I got the $10 million. You know what I'm saying? So it was a thing where, and the thing about me is I talk about it because it's not just me because I'm in entertainment. I know how the doctor feels. I know how the plumber feels. I know how that parent feels. I know how that little kid feels going to school, getting teased and bullied and picked on because they got red hair and freckles. So if you look back at me, how did I overcome that without the alcohol? By getting on a microphone. You know that saying, if you talk about what people think is your weakness or weirdness, they ain't got nothing on you. Yeah, so I can't see. I got on the mic and said, D's for doing it all of the time. N's for the rhymes. That all mine. I said, C's for cool ass can be. Run would say, why you wear those glasses, D? So I can see. Yeah. That's so powerful that people that don't even want to wear glasses because of me want to wear glasses. I always tell little kids, go home and ask your mother and father, who in hip-hop made glasses cool? And kids go, he did. My dad tells me that all the time because of DMC. Who made Adidas cool? No curls, no braids, PZ head, and still get paid. I am the reason why Yeezys can get made.
Yeah, it's
The
amazing.
day Kanye signed his Adidas deal, he got in the car and on Sirius XM was my Adidas. And Kanye said, the Lord just confirmed my deal. Like, so, you know what I'm saying? So, but when I wasn't thinking like that, like I'm not making a record to get the money. I made a record and it got me some money.
Oh, that's
You know what I'm
nails.
saying?
Yeah, that's nails right there.
So yeah, so it was a thing where for me, like now, don't get it twisted. There's people enjoy your drink.
Yeah.
There's people that know how to stop. Me, I'm not going to stop. I would drink from 5 in the morning. This is funny.
Yeah.
To 4 the next morning.
Whoa. Any
Which
powders
is
going on?
not good.
You doing any powders?
Oh, well, from 83 to 88, I sniffed all the coke in the world.
Wow.
I talk about this with Mancow in Chicago. We talk about it is bad to say this. There's a period in the 80s from like 85 to like 87 where the coke was really good. Now, that sounds bad to say.
It was good. It was.
Good.
That shit that looked like abalone shell.
Yeah.
You know, you tilted
Combat Jack, my man Combat Jack, we talked about, we felt wrong, but we said we're not wrong because people don't understand. Before crack, before they started, there was this cocaine, and that's when they stopped selling. I stopped coke cold turkey. This is funny. I stopped coke cold turkey. I stopped Angel Dust cold turkey. I took a pull off a pipe one time. And you know how people say, don't take that first hit? I took a hit off it one time, and in Hollis, everybody was smoking. I said, what's this new shit? I took it off. That was the worst thing ever. I didn't like the smell of it. Because, you know, crack, whenever people smoke crack, it smells so good. I took a hit off. It was the worst thing ever. My thing was alcohol because it made me feel like the Hulk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's truth serum. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like smoking weed. Run and Jay were weed heads, though.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers smoke more than Snoop.
Whoa.
They smoke more than Snoop and Willie Nelson combined.
Whoa.
I would smoke weed and it would give me that weird paranoid feeling.
Same with me, man. It's just
weird.
It's just wrong.
I'm not the guy that want to have this clothes. I can't do what's up, man? I gotta motherfucker.
I like to be up.
I took it too far. And then the other thing I didn't like about weed, Running Jay would always lose shit.
Yeah.
Because you smoke weed, you ain't got a care in the world. They would always lose their wallets, their house keys, their car keys. You know what I'm saying? So me, if I was alcoholic, so me, Will Smith talks about this. He used to, Will Smith and LL, they used to come in my room and LL said, yo, DMC travels and tours, but his hotel room is like his house. When I get it, I still do it to this day. I'm probably going to do it even more though, now that Corona's here. But LL couldn't understand. When I check in the room, I clean it. I go behind the TV and get the dust that May didn't get. Then I lay everything out in size orders. Will Smith and LL used to bug out. They used to bring people to my room to say, watch this. When Darryl's not looking, I'm going to move this quarter. And I would just come in the room without even looking at them and move it back. So,
you got that. You got that.
Yeah,
that
I
thing.
got that. So I'm trying to deal with that. That's that whole control thing and try to fit in and stuff like that. But
how you feeling about, I've been messing with this over the last year, microdosing for depression. Have you tried it yet?
No, I haven't.
Psilocybin mushrooms.
Nope, I haven't. I've heard about that. Our desire to, I learned this in rehab in Sierra Tucson. Our desire to create a feeling outside of us to get to that well-being state is our consciousness, not us per se. It's our consciousness desire to connect with God. So for me, I found, like at the beginning of the quarantine, the first 3 days for me was paranoia. Oh my God, the world is changing. It's over. It'll never be this. I can't do shows no more. That's what my life was over. There's no concert because you can't be in a room. There's nothing going on. But after the third day, a peace came over me. And then I found out I don't need anything outside of me because my new natural high or my new nirvana state is not being high because I was always so high. Right. So for me, after the first 3 days of this quarantine, I'm 56 years old. I found myself at 56 feeling just like I was when I was 15 in my room.
Oh yeah, I relate to that, dude.
Imagination.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Imagination.
I'm saying the way I'm home now. I've been on the road all my life, and now I'm home,
Yeah,
and I'm
and
like,
it's different.
yeah, I want to put some
But now,
posters up.
now you're going to be prepared when it does pop back off. You're going to be even more empowered. It's some superhero shit. You're going to be more empowered now. When it does get back to the point where you can get back out there, it's going to be like you're starting over again, but on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
All the rhymes that became my early songs were rhymes that I wrote just to write. That became those good records. So after the third day of quarantine, I was panicking, but then I said, I can still go sit down and write. Like you can sit down and write a skit or whatever. And then one day, maybe 3 months from now, maybe 6 months from now, you're going to use it and it's going to feel so empowering. So I had to get over that. But I understand what they're saying about the psycho stuff and the LSD and stuff like that, because if you can do, medicine works depending on what type of medicine is you're using and how you're supposed to use it. But one of the examples for me where I discovered, and what I mean by when my world was perfect, it was that time where all I cared about was trying to be the king of rock, wanting to be like Grandmaster Flash in the Furious Five, and wanting to be like Spider-Man. So I was pretending. When you pretend to be something, you don't realize that you have become that. But you say, I'm pretending to be that. But you're not pretending. I have become that. So one of the things that helped me also, having an addictive personality, I tend to overdo things. Like my new vice is exercise.
I'm the same way.
To overdo it, and I hurt myself. And I'm like, if I miss a workout, it's like I fucking can't get my next hit. It's bad.
Yeah.
But in rehab, I discovered something, because everything is right up under your nose, like the hidden treasure. I looked all over the world the whole time and sat in my living room. So this is what I did for my mind. With this, and I still do I want to drink right now.
Yeah.
But with the same intent, and I got to admit that. See, that frees me. I want to drink right now. If I say, no, I don't want to drink, I'm fronting. I might go drink 3 years from now.
Wow.
Just by saying that.
Still got it.
So I said, yes, I want to drink right now. But with the same, now a lot of people can't do this, but if they focused on it, they could. They just got to get past that point. With the same intensity, like if you put the drink in front of me, the same thing that makes me want to reach and get it, that it's a powerful overtaking feeling. It's the same feeling I used to not take it. So it negates itself.
Yeah.
Now, some people have to work to that. I don't need to practice to do that, because I focus on the feeling. Like when you say, I got to have that piece of cake, I'm going to eat the cake.
Yeah.
So with the same feeling that I used to eat the cake, I use that same feeling not to take the drink. So I discovered that in rehab. Like I said, my rehab taught me about me. Why was I drinking? I was drinking because, now it goes deeper than that for me. This is all going to be in my movie too. I'm doing a movie, not the Run DMC movie, the movie about an alcoholic, suicidal, metaphysical wreck who happens to be the mighty king of rock.
Wow.
That's what my movie. It's not about Darryl DMC. It's about a person who you can relate to, the doctor, lawyer, entertainer, comedian, nurse, whatever. But in my movie, my things is very metaphysical. You know what I'm saying? It's very metaphysical. I was pretending to be, I'm the king of rock. There is none higher. I was pretending to be the king of rock. I was pretending to be the son of Bifred because of Thor, son of Odin.
Right.
Thor is the son of Odin, right? He's from Asgard. He got a brother named Loki, and he got a hammer. So I said, I could be like him. My name is Darryl. My father's name is Bifred. I come from Hollis. I got a brother named Alfred, and I got a Mike. So I'm pretending to do all of these things. In that thing, I realized that's where I was drawing all my power from. Actually, me getting high, like even when I hurt my arm, I don't even take painkillers now. Because I go, my body cells and my atoms have the power to heal that. Like Daredevil, I meditate on it and I'll heal you. Wow. So now I'm just waiting to see, okay, after doing this, I've been sober for 15 years. Now I'm just waiting to see, okay, if I take this gun and shoot my hand, will it heal in 3 seconds?
No.
But I'm not going there.
Yeah.
But that's basically where, for me, substances ruin me because of my imagination.
I get it.
And John Lennon said something powerful. He said, imagine it's just image in. So if you think of something, the fact that you thought of it, you already created it. So what I try to do is not image in anything that is contrary to what I want to feel. I want to make a rap song. I'm not making a rap song to put it out as a record to make money. I'm making a rap song because I want to write one.
Right.
Now, if I get to channel,
for the sake of doing art.
Right. So if I want to put it out on iTunes or whatever and it doesn't hit, it's cool. But what I got to understand is I've already experienced the reward for that. Like if I was in Michael Jackson's camp, I would have sat Michael down and said, Michael, you will probably never, ever make another Thriller. Shut the fuck up and just go be Michael. Because I'm not going to do, maybe I will, but I'm saying I might not ever have a Raising Hell. So far, I haven't had it.
Right.
Cool, Michael. But here's the killer with Michael. I mean, I like saying this. It's funny. Michael, you sold 42 million Thriller fucking albums. You'll probably never do it again. It's good to believe that you can, but in that belief, Michael, just go make another album, put it out singing. If it only sell 10 records, put another one out, sing it. You know what I'm saying? I love Tricky and Walk This Way for what it done commercially. But to me, here we go. DMC and DJ Run, dum diddy dum diddy diddy dum dum. We're rocking on a mic, and you know we're over Billy Squire's Big Beat.
Yeah,
Squire's Big Beat, another rock star. Me rhyming over that, it's just as dope as me rhyming over Walk This Way. So that's basically how I cured myself. I said, I'm not Darryl McDaniels, this multi-platinum selling rich celebrity guy. I'm Darryl McDaniels at 56 years old, the same person. The only thing that's different is age. The same person I was when I was 12 in my room, sitting there listening to Billy Squier and not knowing I could sample his record. That's where the energy comes from.
That's so great. Let's talk a little Rick Rubin.
Rick Rubin is amazing.
I feel Rick Rubin is the greatest producer of all time. I feel that
he's definitely up there, but Pete Rock is right next to him. That's real funny.
Okay. But there's a lot of guys, of course, you know, if you look at Andy Johns, you look at Dave Jordan, there's a lot of guys,
right.
Great stuff. But to me, it was his vision and his track record and the trust.
Johnny Cash, Run DMC, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Beastie Boys, the Sri Lanka guy, the Raji Maji, and Indian dude,
Dixie Chicks,
Johnny Cash.
Yeah, it's the trust. It's the trust. If Rick did something, I went and bought it, and that is pretty amazing when you're buying an act unheard just because of who did it.
That's amazing. Yeah, you know, that's true.
That's pretty wild.
I mean, George Harrison had a lot to do with the Beatles. George Martin. George
Martin.
George Martin had a lot to do with the sound. And hey, John, what about trying that out? And that's the beautiful thing about Rick. The thing I would say, I don't want to do that. Rick would say, yo, do that.
Yeah.
Don't think too hard, but don't do that. Do the thing you did last night. Don't do something clean. Like Rick don't want the clean, politically correct thing. Do the thing that's spontaneous and new and beautiful and feels good.
Oh, yeah.
So, Rick was the guy that asked Jay, you think these 3 punk rock white boys could make an album? Jay was like, hell no. Hell yeah. They could do that. And then they came with License to Ill.
Dude.
He's the guy that told me to rhyme Peter Piper when I go Jay's like King Midas, as I was told. Everything that he touched turned to gold. He's the greatest of the great. Get it straight, he's great. Claim fame because his name is known in every state. I didn't like that when we first recorded it because if you listen to Peter Piper, it opens up with all this energy. Peter Piper, Pepper, run, rock, brown, Humpty Dumpty, down. So I'm thinking I need to rhyme like that the whole record. So Rick was like, no, you don't, D. It's so beautiful that you go down like that. He said, you so dope, you could just whisper and kill every rapper. But see, I never saw myself like that. And I actually went to the studio, recorded that rhyme differently. I recorded that rhyme yelling, Peter Piper picked pepper. Jay's like King Midas, as I was told. Everything that he touched, turned to gold. He's a great, So Rick sat me down. He said, okay, D, here's what you did today. Peter Piper, and here's what you did yesterday. Jay's like King Midas, as I was told. He asked me, which one is better? I said, the one that I did yesterday. He said, get the fuck out of here, go home. I got you. I was like, yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
How
I love
crazy is
that. That early thing, man, of Run DMC, Rick Rubin, the New York Dorms, the Beastie Boys, that whole thing had so much
life.
Oh, God. And it was so heartfelt and real. There was no money thoughts. No. There was no, this is going to sell big. It was like, we're making something, man. We're making New York City.
And it took you where you wanted to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Man, I can't thank you enough for doing the show.
Thank you.
Shout out to Rob Dukes for setting it up.
Matter of fact, we got a cover of Heartbreaker by the Stones.
Oh man, you guys are doing some music together, right?
Yeah. We got a couple of songs. We waiting to do a new song with David Ellefson.
Yeah, for Megadeth, right?
Yeah, for Megadeth. Yeah, I did a song on his last album. He put out a solo album 2 years ago. Yeah. So I did a song on him with that a couple of months ago. He was hanging with Rob, and they talked about me. So Rob was like, "Yo, let's put out. We're gonna do this little EP." And I told him, "Yo, we're gonna showcase Dave on it, and then Rob's gonna come do his thing, and I'm gonna come do my thing. And it's just gonna be something that make people smile." I also have a hip hop project coming out. A song, one of the songs that I'm doing is produced by Bumpy Knuckles, who's known as one of the best lyricists in the game, definitely top 5 of all time. But he's a great producer, so he produced a song called "Me and My Microphone" featuring. Check this line out. Bumpy Knuckles producing. He's not rhyming on this record. He produced Chuck D of Public Enemy.
Wow.
DMC.
Wow.
Ice-T and DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Wow.
On the turntable, actually, not just putting one scratch there. Yeah, right. Like performing on it. And then I have a compilation album coming out. I mentioned it earlier. Tim Armstrong from Rancid. I got Tim Armstrong from Rancid, Joan Jett.
Wow.
Sammy Hagar.
Oh, really?
David Navarro, yeah.
Wow.
Who else is on there? Sebastian Bach.
Yeah.
Mick Mars from Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Travis Barker. Sum 41.
Whoa, what is this record?
It's called DMC, but the DMC means Dynamic Musical Collaborations.
Wow. So what songs are you doing?
All new original songs.
Oh, that's sick.
All new original songs.
That is sick.
Yeah. We have a cover though with me, Sebastian Bach, Travis Barker, and Mick Mars. We covered Ram Jam's Black Betty.
Oh, I love it. Oh, Black Betty.
Black Betty. Yeah. So we're waiting to get a bass player. It's either going to be Bootsy Collins, Flea, or Chris Chaney.
Oh, you got to have Bootsy.
Yeah, everybody say, yo, you got to get Bootsy. So Bootsy, I'm calling you for sure.
Yeah, Bootsy and Larry Carlton were just they're the gods, man.
Yeah. So we got the dynamic musical collaborations coming. Like I said, I got the movies coming. So it's not
what's the movie?
The movie's going to be called Treaty. I'll say the name.
Okay.
Because people are going to go, what's that about? It's called Treaty of Asunder.
Yeah. Love it.
So if you look up the meaning for asunder, you will understand why we named it that. Treaty of Asunder. Because, the dichotomy of your soul and your spirit and your personality. I had to have a treaty with that. I was fighting that, you know what I'm saying? My alter ego, like everybody said, yo, DMC, man, you got a comic book out now, but we always thought you was a superhero. Because think about it. Crash through walls, come through floors, bust through ceilings in, knock down doors. That's some superhero talk. But yeah, so the new comic book is coming. Matter of fact, this week, for anybody out there's a comic book head, I got a special edition comic book coming out on Playboy online, Playboy magazine.
Yeah.
Like most people think Playboy is a girly magazine, but it's a lifestyle magazine.
They changed now. Yeah.
Yeah, they do politics, music.
The Sun took it over,
fashion.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So Playboy, go to playboy.com. Tuesday, Darryl Makes Comics, DMC, Darryl Makes Comics, special edition comic book in Playboy. And then DMC graphic novel number 4 will follow soon after.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yes.
And you got a cookie company?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
This is crazy. I didn't know this.
Yeah. It's Darryl Makes Cookies. DMC again. Darryl Makes Cookies. Because I like to do stuff that's going to make people smile, going to bring people together. So I'm a big fan of oatmeal cookies.
Oh, yes.
So originally it was just going to be oatmeal cookies because everybody loves chocolate chip and sugar cookies. So
I like oatmeal.
Yeah, me too. So I'm going to have the best tasting oatmeal cookies, chocolate chip and sugar cookies. And this summer we're launching with a special cookie this holiday season, the DMC Christmas in Hollis Christmas cookie.
Oh.
And then starting in the spring, we're gonna. I'm officially a cookie company. So anybody that loves cookies, you'll be able to get the best cookies in the world. And I'm coming in. I'm gonna be sitting right there next to Nabisco and Keebler.
Oh, I love you, man. I love, man. You're 56. You look fantastic. You're like me. You work out every day.
Yeah, just be happy, man.
Yeah, and just happy. And it's just
communication. Like me and you were just alike. Like all of us creators, we're all in the same vein and boat. And you know what's beautiful? This quarantine is gonna. I hope we can continue this togetherness. You know what I'm saying? Like. You should do a stand-up show, and at the end of it, I should come out next year and do some of the new music. You know what I'm saying? We got to start working together, man.
I mean, to work with you would be a mind-boggling, dude.
Look, you already hired me once.
Yeah.
So might as well let's work together, man.
I'll tell you what, the second we can do that, it's on.
You got my number. Hit me up and let's plan something.
I love you, man, and I can't wait to see you in person and talk some more. And
definitely will. Yeah, when the new stuff drops, we'll talk about that.
I remembered the producer's name, Swifty Lazar.
Swifty Lazar. He was the guy that wore those glasses.
Yeah. Let me show you real quick. And then we'll bounce out. He was the first guy. Hold on here. Swifty Lazar.
Yeah, the glasses you got on now look like my King of Rock cover glasses.
Yeah. Well,
the glasses that I got on the King of Rock.
I always loved your look, dude. Always. And it was just so New York City to me, you know?
Swifty Lazar.
Here you go, buddy. Let me get to. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, yep. Hell yeah. That's dumb. Yep.
Hold on.
That's crazy. Yes.
Yeah. Look at that.
Wow.
And he was the first guy that I saw. Here's a great photo of him with Cher. But
oh wow! Yeah,
he was. You know, if you dig down into him and look about his life, it's unreal. But he
really
was first, man, and then you were rocking him, and then of course, you know, Uncle June on The Sopranos. You know.
Yes. Yep. Yes. Right up. That's so dope. You just gave me a new verse. I'm gonna have to give you some writers.
Yeah.
Glasses on with my superstars walking through the spot looking like Swifty Lazar.
Yeah. That's so it.
I gotta put that in there.
Dude, that is so it.
I will.
That just gave me goosebumps. Look at that, man.
I gotta find a rack track. Glasses on with my superstars walking through the spot like Swifty Lazar. That's gonna be crazy.
God. Oh,
thank you for that. That was very inspirational.
Oh yeah, I love you, dude.
Hell yeah.
It was great to talk to you. And let's
thank you.
Communication. This will be out Monday. I'll shoot it over to you. And
tell Dukes we got to talk.
Oh yeah. You got an Instagram?
Yes, my Instagram is King DMC.
Okay.
King DMC. If you don't see the hat, the Run DMC hat, it's not me.
Okay. I love you, man. I love you,
man. I can't wait to see you in person, man.
Oh, I can't wait too. I'm not even kidding, man. You know,
for sure.
Oh, so good to talk to you. And God, what a day, dude. What a day to talk to you. I mean, like, as much as I love the music, I love the fashion that you created too, just as much, man. I think it's just as historic as the music, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. If you need me, you got my number.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see you, buddy.
Gotcha.
I love you.